You guys are looking at what is, without question, the most impressive masonry job that I've ever seen. And this is two buildable lots. So they're building house pads here. This one is a cast in place concrete wall, and that's because this is a basement, and the house will be kind of sitting on that. Whereas this one over here is more of a retaining situation. And then more masonry around here, all the way around the back, a lot of drainage work. And it's tough to describe without seeing it. Well, I'll put some drone shots up, but this is just a real feat of labor and engineering and construction. So kudos to Pew Masonry on this job. And today they're going to be grouting some of this wall. So this should be fun to watch. Grouting is a kind of a satisfying part of this because it's the moment where you lock it in and you commit and you make it permanent. Let's see how that goes.
So a couple things that are cool about this particular system right here, and I keep referring to systems because every masonry wall is different, whether it's a site wall or a retaining wall. So this has 10 feet high of 8 by 8 by 16. And what we like to do is, once it gets built, then you need to fill each core with grout. Every single cell on this particular wall has a number 6 rebar coming out of the footing, and then they have number 5 verticals going all the way up. And this footing is about 8 feet wide, 30 inches deep at the deepest with a keyway and a bunch of double mat reinforcing. So it's very robust. So what we like to do is we come in, and at 5'4" is where we laid up the first time, just right below the scaffold. Once that was finished, we had an inspection, made sure the vertical rebar were in place. Then we grouted in one lift. So we have a 4-foot lift. I think I actually went a little bit higher. I went to about 5 feet, 5'4" with that lift. Then we laid the rest of it up to 10 feet. So today we're going to be grouting the second lift of this, because at 10 feet you have too much susceptibility and you don't get good consolidation with the grout. So we like to do it in lifts, traditionally 4 to 6 feet, or if you're doing higher than that, you need to put clean outs in, and it's kind of a pain in the neck. So we decided to go with 2 lifts. And what a clean out is, at the very bottom of the wall, we would take a hammer and blow a hole in the face of the block so that you could see the rebar. So as the grout comes down the hole, it's visually, like you could see the progress of the grout, and it forces its way out the hole. That way you know, all right, it went all the way around the rebar, it's down all the way to the footing, there's no obstruction in the wall, and we know that that cell is getting good consolidation with concrete. But we decided to do the 5-foot lifts, and at that height with that grout, it consolidates fine. But any higher than that, that's when you can really get the concrete combined around the reinforcing, because also in this, you have horizontal reinforcing every 16 inches on center, which makes for just a really tight concrete or reinforcing cage in the block.
Now, in my opinion, tradesmen like these guys, they do get a decent amount of credit and recognition for doing good work, but it's generally kind of centered around the craftsmanship itself. In other words, how the finished product looks and how straight and nice it was, because people can see that and recognize it, and they generally appreciate the talent that it takes to do that. But the other aspect that I don't feel like gets enough recognition is the risk that the contractor takes when he signs up to do a job like this. No, people who are not in those shoes or boots really can't understand what that's like to commit. A lot of people counting on you to do it right, to solve any unforeseen issues, which there were plenty on this job. Morgan told me they ran into some basically solid rock in the excavation. There was some engineering that was drawn, I don't say wrong, but they missed a part of the engineering that Morgan caught, luckily, that was pretty important. There's just a lot that goes in. A lot of contractors lose a lot of sleep thinking and planning how to pull something like this off. And I think they should get more credit. So I'm going to let this video roll out with some appropriate music that I feel like supports this accomplishment. thanks Morgan and Pew Masonry for letting us show your work here. Great job, and great job for the GC on this project, who has taken also a decent amount of risk by committing to the client to build these beautiful homes, and I'm sure they're going to be just fantastic, so maybe we'll get a chance to see them. Thanks for watching. Keep up the good work.